Hello everybody. I'm going to read some stuff here. A couple of pieces from my new book, this one, The Mystery of Mercy Close, by me, Marian Keyes. And this is Helen Walsh's book. And I'm going to start by reading chapter 1. So are you sitting comfortably? If so, I will begin. Chapter 1. I was thinking about food. Stuck in traffic. It's what I do. What any normal person does, of course. But now that I thought about it, I hadn't had anything to eat since 7 o'clock this morning, about 10 hours ago. A lad song came on the radio, the second time that day. How about that for bad luck? And as the maudlin, syrupy harmonies filled the car, I had a brief but powerful urge to drive into a pole. There was a petrol station coming up on the left, the red sign of refreshment hanging invitingly in the sky. I could extricate myself from this gridlock and go in and buy a donut. But the donuts they sold in those places were as tasteless as the sponges you find at the bottom of the ocean. I'd be better off just washing myself with one. Besides, a swarm of huge black vultures was circling over the petrol pumps and they were kind of putting me off. No, I decided, I'd hang on and... Wait a minute. Vultures? In a city? At a petrol station? I took a second look, and they weren't vultures, just seagulls, ordinary Irish seagulls. And I thought, no, not again. 15 minutes later, I pulled up outside my parents' house, took a moment to gather myself, then started rummaging for a key to let myself in. They'd tried to make me give it back when I'd moved out 3 years ago, but, thinking strategically, I'd hung on to it. Mum had made noises about changing the locks, but seeing as she and Dad took 8 years to decide to buy a yellow bucket, what were the chances that they'd manage something as complicated as getting a new lock? I found them in the kitchen, sitting at the table drinking tea and eating cake. Old people. What a great life they had, even those who don't do Tai Chi, which I'll get to. They looked up and stared at me with barely concealed resentment. "I've news," I said. Mum found her voice. "What are you doing here?" "I live here." "You don't. We got rid of you. We painted your room. We've never been happier." I said, "I've news. That's my news. I live here." The fear was starting to creep into her face now. "You have your own place." She was blustering, but she was losing conviction. After all, she must have been expecting this. "I don't," I said. "Not as of this morning. I've nowhere to live." The mortgage people. She was ashen beneath her regulation issue Irish Mammy Orange foundation. "What's going on?" Dad was deaf, also frequently confused. It was hard to know which disability was in the driving seat at any particular time. "She didn't pay her mortgage," Mum said into his good ear. "Her flat's been reclaimed." "I couldn't afford to pay the mortgage. You're making it sound like it's my fault. Anyway, it's far more complicated than that." "You have a boyfriend," Mum said hopefully. "Can't you live with him?" "You've changed your tune, you rampant Catholic." "We have to keep up with the times." I shook my head. "I can't move in with Artie. His kids won't let me." Not exactly. Only Bruno. He absolutely hated me. But Iona was pleasant enough. And Bella positively adored me. "You're my parents. Unconditional love, might I remind you. My stuff is in the car." "What? All of it?" "No. I'd spent the day with 2 cash-in-hand blokes. The last few sticks of furniture I owned were now stashed in a massive self-storage place out past the airport, waiting for the good times to come again. Just my clothes and work stuff. Quite a lot of work stuff, actually, seeing as I'd had to let my office go over a year ago. And quite a lot of clothes too, even though I'd thrown out tons and tons while I'd been packing. "But when will it end?" Mum said querulously. "When do we get our golden years?" "Never," Dad spoke with sudden confidence. "She's part of a syndrome. Generation boomerang. Adult children coming back to live in the family home. I read about it in Grazia." Well, there was no disagreeing with Grazia. "You can stay for a few days," Mum conceded, "but be warned. We might want to sell this house and go on a Caribbean cruise." Property prices being as low as they were, the sale of this house probably wouldn't fetch enough money to send them on a cruise at the Aran Islands. But as I made my way out to the car to start lugging in my boxes of stuff, I decided not to rub it in. After all, they were giving me a roof over my head. So that's where that little piece ends. Thank you.